Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Fantasy Football University, FFU, coming at you yet again in week 5 of the regular season for the big preview show, starts, sits, etc. I am Mr. Bildacouslis. I'm here with Mr. Tom Lang. Mr. Lang, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just loving some of the comments that we are getting on our TikTok from some of our videos. Some of those reactions just rally up and just make you feel like you're doing a good job here.
Sure. And considering, we're in the we're in the content creation space at this point, I believe we are allowed just a bit of hyperbolic speaking from time to time. Did you want to address any of that commentary real quick before we jump in?
No, I mean, some of it is just like, other people trying to get clout and try to draw attention and get other people to jump on the train, which is funny because nobody else is jumping on the train. And we're able to answer and articulate the questions a lot, pretty direct. You know, I think there was one comment, it was in relation to trading away because I mean, I still admit I think that Bucky Irving is a bootay.
I don't
And
think that
I,
that's
I know
necessary, but
I don't think you think it's necessary, but I just think, based on our articulation in the offseason, a lot of his big plays this year are not broken tackles or anything like that. They're just big plays. It's onesie plays. And you can't really rank somebody's production for the season right now off of a onesie play that may break loose for a 72-yard touchdown that takes you from an low end RB2 or an high end RB3 to a RB1 for a week. I just think that if you're watching the games fully, thoroughly, you see that some of these players are taking a little bit of a regression. We did analyze that in the offseason that we thought that there was going to be some sort of a big hype train on this guy, and he may come out strong, but it's going to be a regression through the season. There's a lot of depth on that roster, and injuries do occur. And he is been babying an injury for the past couple days. So
yeah, and I thought I would mention too, like all of this is projecting, sort of there's math involved, there's other things, but we're projecting how we feel about players going forward. You're free to disagree with us. It's not like, we're not the judge, juries, and
yeah,
executioner on everything there. And also in general, like if you are calling your shot, or if you believe something in a player that other people don't, maybe that's a trade opportunity for you. So like
yeah,
for us, if we're kind of halfway going against the grain, being like, okay, we see the stock on, let's say, Bucky Irving or another player going down, that to us is an option for us to trade out of it. But if you believe the other way, then both teams are, in that trade, they're getting better with what they believe about a player. Just how it works.
yeah.
So you can disagree, but
Hey, you could disagree. I mean, we figure out, when it comes down to the mathematics side, but like also there are, understanding of watching the games and stuff like that, and you see the regression. Like a lot of people were on the JCM train right from the beginning. We
yep,
had a
you're right
conversation
about
about
that.
that last week, and that train fell off a track real quick.
Yeah,
Um,
I wanted to mention, and Tommy, we'll do this. Maybe we'll get to this at some point after the season's over. But week here, I think this is why we we have an integrity about what we're doing, because we say when we're wrong,
yeah,
and we own when we're wrong about stuff. We haven't really been taking as many victory laps as we could have, and we have in a few instances, but across the board about every little thing that we've gotten right. I don't know what our percentage is at the moment, but it's pretty high. It's pretty high with how we did things in draft season. Notable off the top, we were wrong about JSN. That's probably our biggest one that we were wrong
yeah.
about. But
And we fully admit to that. We fully
right,
admit to JSN being, but again, it is week 5. Things can change. Cooper Cup could start taking an uprise in ticks
we'll
and snaps, and we'll see.
we'll see. I
You
didn't
know,
identify him
it
in the
is,
metrics.
and
His metrics are still good.
I know, but I will say that it is a 17-week season, so just be aware and just keep your eyes on the game because the prize is not in week 5.
Yes, it is. You ready to jump in? We got a nice slate of games
Yes,
here.
sir. A
All
lot of
right.
injuries this week. A lot of
A
injuries.
lot of injuries. And just to reiterate with everybody, we got four teams on bye, the Falcons, Bears, Packers, and Steelers. So we got two less games to talk about. So let's jump right in. We got Thursday Night Football. We got the San Francisco 49ers at the LA Rams. The Rams are home favorites, minus 7.5 points. The
Can I
line
cut
there.
sorry, can I cut you off real quick?
Sure, sure.
It's the Rams versus Christian McCaffrey this week.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Thanks for cutting me off on that one.
Yep, no problem.
The over under there is 45.5 points. So not a lot of implied points totals for the Rams. So the on the excuse me, on the Rams side, you're starting Kyren Williams, you're starting Puka Nacua, you are starting the Rams defense.
Yep.
On the San Francisco side, you're starting Christian McCaffrey. Basically, that's close to being it. Some other quick options that we identified. So Davante Adams, it's pretty close at this point to just being a must start without any questions. I mean, the way that Stafford is hyper targeting everybody. And on the San Francisco side, you really obviously you're not playing any of the wide receivers. Half of them are out. The other guys aren't, it's Bourne and Robinson. You're not going to be doing that.
It's
But
crazy.
but honestly, considering the how bereft they are at any pass catching weapons, you could probably throw in Tonjes and be okay at the tight end position. Or even I had even considered Tonjes as a emergency flex option if needed. Do you see any other options you'd be willing to play in this entire game?
Do you think this is a week for MVS?
No, no, it's no. I think the train has
I
sailed.
think,
No
yeah,
99-yard
I,
touchdowns.
I think the Rams are just gonna smash on Thursday Night Football, and uh, you know, I would take the over on the spread, over on the the Rams spread. Not take the money line, but I would also take like the spread line.
Yep. All right, let's go to the next game. We get the Minnesota Vikings at the Cleveland Browns. Minnesota are the road favorites, minus 3.5 points. The over-under there is a juicy, juicy, juicy 35.5 points.
And remember, this is the 9:30 London game.
That's right.
So
And they
yes,
stayed in
just
London, the Vikings.
yes, yes. So this is a big thing. But again, the defense is crossing the pond. So
That's right.
yeah,
So in a game like this, where the over/under is this small and the implied points total for both teams, you're playing both defenses.
yeah.
Play them with confidence. Man, it's gonna be oh man, it's gonna be an old school football game over
This,
there.
historically, it's been very high, mediocre to high scoring games when it comes down to going overseas. I think this is the first game that you're going to see really not really. I don't think it's going to cross double digits, maybe.
It might
So
not. What would you put the final score at?
I don't think I'm doing final scores right now, because my
Okay.
17 to 16 and my
Yeah,
my
I did know.
21 to 21 to 17.
Yeah,
But if I have to put a number to it, I one team crosses the digit line and it's like 10 points, right? So it's 10 to 7, 10 to 9.
I could see. I could see one touchdown being scored for either team, maybe two field goals, so maybe 13-10. I could see something like that. Yeah. Um. Okay. So doesn't really change this in terms of the over under. It really reduces the guys that you'd be willing to play on the Cleveland side. You're starting Quinshon Judkins. He's been doing it against really good defenses. There's no reason to think that'll stop. Just keep rolling with it. Take your licks as they are.
Yeah, especially in a PPR setting, you're definitely starting him.
Minnesota side, you're starting Justin Jefferson because he's Justin Jefferson. In terms of other options in this game, I would be trying hard to not play Mason, although I recognize that for a lot of people, especially on a bye week, you're going to have to get him in there. But it's not going to be a fun game. Again,
No.
he's got the backfield all to himself, but I got it. Jordan Addison, obviously, it's an option. He's going to get lots of targets at this point now that he's fully integrated back into the offense. TJ Hawkinson, you could always throw in there as a decent tight end option. At this point, he'll get some targets. Uh, on the Cleveland side, I don't want to play a single player other than Judkins. I guess if I had to in an emergency situation, I would if I had to play anybody, it might be Judy, but I don't want to play either tight end. They're vulturing each other. I don't want to play anybody else. I mean, you see any other options in this game?
Uh, no, I mean, maybe Njoku, maybe. especially with the quarterback being shifted a little bit over there.
I feel like you could get better options.
I don't, yeah,
Oof.
I think you get better options, but if you need a streaming tight end, unfortunately, I think that he may be a starter for many of us.
But how? How? I mean, just look at the list of the stuff that we've got. All these other names on this list. I mean, we've even
I know,
all the
I know,
the
I
B tiered
know,
guys.
I know.
16 of them. You can't find a
No,
better guy than
no,
Njoku.
that's what you potentially can, but I think that this could be a decent streaming option this week based on it being a new quarterback, a rookie quarterback, Dylan Gabriel's
Right.
taking the helm. Um,
I felt like it didn't even matter that much, the fact that he's taking over from a fantasy
no,
perspective.
the only I think the only fantasy perspective is there's an uptick in snaps with the running game, and dump offs to the running back, which I think Ford could be a decent option potentially. Um, but again, I don't see this going over a drastic amount of points. But receptions and if you're in a PPR setting, it could be it could be nice.
I I disagree with you. I mean, in a game this bad, like you want to avoid pieces as much as possible.
I'm not saying all right, they're all automatic starts, but I'm thinking like maybe that he might be streamer opportunity. Especially with Ford, he might be a flex one, flex two potentially if you need to, based on the buys.
I don't.
I mean,
I mean,
you got four teams on buys. You got the Falcons, you got the Bears, you got the Packers, and the
I
Steelers.
I mean, we'll talk about. I mean, we'll talk about it later. Like, let me just name some of the guys that we have B's for. Like, okay, Ramondre Stevenson or Jerome Ford.
Well, we haven't covered the
Right.
them yet, but going against Buffalo, in Buffalo, that could be a really really bad game. So I'd probably I pr- I don't know. I'd probably have to lean Jerome Ford over Stevenson this week,
Oof. Okay. Okay. But
especially if Ed Oliver is coming back this week.
okay. Well, let's just say this for everybody listening. Don't hear what Tommy's not saying. This is like bottom of the barrel. Like
Yeah,
if you
this
needed
is
that.
this is low,
Yeah.
low.
Nobody's excited about that. Um, let's go let's go to the next game. We've got the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Raven. Houston are the road favorites, minus 1.5 points. The over under there is 40.5 points. So it's been spoken. Lamar Jackson is not going to play. Hence the way that the line has moved. So
That's rough.
because the Texans defense and because the implied points total, the Texans are an automatic start defense here. You play the Texans defense. So on the Baltimore side, I mean, it's Derrick Henry. You still roll with it. It doesn't matter. His ceiling is a bit capped in this game, but you still roll with him. Zay Flowers, I get it. There could be, a disappearing act, but Cooper Rush is going to need to rely on the guys who can actually um, be relied on to catch the ball. So you're playing Zay Flowers. On the Houston side, you're playing Nico Collins. And if you picked him up right off the waiver wire in a game where Baltimore is like one of the worst defenses in the league, you're probably playing Woody Marks, right? So
Yep.
I mean, and I think he's a good start in this game.
You want to hear a stat for Derrick Henry?
Sure.
In 15 games against the Texans, he has had 280 carries for 1,578 yards and 13 touchdowns.
Right. Well, that he was on Tennessee for a lot of that.
And they
Yeah.
had really bad quarterback plays over there a lot of times. So
Yes.
Cooper Rush, a week of Cooper Rush,
Might be
being
good for Derrick Henry, you're saying?
could be good for Derrick Henry. This should be a bounce back game, unless he's going to be he's only going to take 11 snaps.
That's true. Although if I'm the Texans defense and they have a good defense, I mean, they're going to load the box. Like Vegas knows what they're doing with this line. Um, yeah, it might be tough sledding. I feel like both tight ends they're in decent to emergency start territory. In a lower over under game, it's not the best. But Dalton Schultz has been getting more and more looks as of late. The short area stuff because the Houston O line can't stop anybody. But then again, the Baltimore defense can't put any pressure on anybody. So, what's the opposite of the immovable object meets the irresistible force? This is whatever that is. This is the movable object meets the resistible force. Um,
Yeah, I mean, Don't I know Nico Collins has been a burden to a lot of us in the fantasy aspect this year, on and off. He hasn't been putting up wide receiver one numbers, but this is the
You have
week.
to play him. Yeah.
This is the week.
I feel like for anybody who picked up Marx, I feel like you're going to expect Marx to just go in and get 25 carries. FYI, that's not going to happen. It's probably
No.
going to be some kind of a 50-50, and Chubb might annoy you. So just keep it in mind. What Marx is still good. But I would say therefore Chubb is probably an emergency start if you absolutely needed a running back.
I think Chubb's you see value in Chubb this week, based on, what you didn't see from him last week.
Sure. Let's go to the next game. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a closet good game. I'm actually really excited for this game. We got the New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints are the home favorites, -1.5 points. The over-under there is 41.5 points. This is not sarcasm. I actually am excited for this game. So we've got, because of the lower over under and the lower implied points, both defenses are in play. They're not must
Yep.
plays, but they're not. If you need it, go for it. I feel like that they're great starts. Just in the next tier. So on the Giants side, you're playing Cam Skatteboo. It's pretty simple against the Saints defense.
Scatman.
He's still got the scat man himself. He's basically still got the whole backfield. You roll with him. Wandale, after the Malik Neighbors injury, I don't know how you sit him. I mean, give him a try. Let Jackson Dart have with a full now, another full week of starting, whatever. See how much they pass the ball. It might not be as much as you'd like, but you can't sit Wandale at this point. On the Saints side, what do we say? We've got two must starts: Alvin Kamara, Juwan Johnson. Pretty simple. Now
Yeah.
we have some other
Well,
options, maybe. Um,
Juwan Johnson, he did have his veteran knee injury, day off on
I
Wednesday.
think he'll be fine.
I think he'll
Yes.
be fine too. But this could be a game where you see Chris Olave showing off for the Giants to pick him up next week.
We've got him as a B level start for this week. I agree. He's been getting too many targets. I don't know if that means I'm crazy about just assuming that he's going to start doing more with those targets, but targets are king, and
I and I will request, Chris Olave, please do not throw another interception this week. That regressed you by -2 points in predominant leagues. Catch the ball,
yeah.
don't throw it.
Yeah. Any other? I mean, should have mentioned. So you might have picked up Theo Johnson on the waiver wire. If you got him, it's decent. It's not the best.
Yeah,
You ha
it's definitely decent. I'd feel, though, going back to the Cleveland game, I would feel more leaning to playing Njoku over Theo Johnson, but I think they're similar.
I I would rather play Theo Johnson than those guys in Cleveland. And
Okay.
by the way, that includes Njoku and Fannin. So I mean, I'm lumping them both in. I just wanted to mention, here's one little thing, because it's consensus online, etc. And even you're a Giants fan, but I think we agree on this. Everybody's very excited about Dart from an NFL perspective, and you should be. I would not be playing him here for fantasy wise. It's a lower employed points total. You got to wait and see. They're going to have tape on him. They're going to know what they're going to do. The Saints, despite being a bad team, like, they're staying competitive and their defense is not horrendous. So, do you agree with that? Like, it would take I feel like there's a lot better options than Dart this week.
I think he is a streamable asset based on his uh stupidity, the offensive play call allowing him to run and try to run for 50 to 60 plus yards and utilizing him as a Daniel Jones in the red zone. Um, I think they're going to continue to do that this week, unfortunately, and I think that adds more value to him. He is a potential streaming asset for me.
Okay. I mean, we could use him as a bit of a barometer. I mean, we'll call out some of the B level streamers that we have on here, and you
But
can tell
again,
me
I
if you
don't.
prefer.
You're not going to get 250 plus yards passing from Jackson Dart this week.
But if what you're saying is right, you won't need to. Let's say you get 180 yards passing, but 50 yards rushing, maybe one touchdown on the ground, maybe one touchdown through the air. Like, that's it. That's perfectly fine too for
Yeah.
a streamer. But That's the point. Do you think he actually gets to that? I don't know. I think maybe they stifle him on his running a little bit, but
Maybe.
we'll use him as a barometer. There's other B level starters that we can get into. Any other points on this game you wanted to bring up for your New York Giants
No,
here?
no. Just go out there and win it, and let's either look to trade for a Calvin Ridley or a Calvin Ridley or a Chris Olave next week.
Let's go to the next game. We got the Miami Dolphins at the Carolina Panthers. Miami are the road favorites there, -1.5 points. The over-under is 44.5 points. So this game line, I was following it, has swung back and forth a lot. So it started with Miami being favorites -1.5. Then after the Tyreek Hill injury, it went to Carolina being home favorites by I think it went up to -2.
Mm.
Now, after other betting and after they've gotten a chance to normalize, now it's back to Miami -1.5. I think what it is to make of this is like, okay, they still recognize that Carolina isn't the best team. Miami was able to demonstrate a little bit of resiliency against the hapless Jets, but like they recognize now that they got Waller a little bit to help out in the passing game. I think that that's what's going on there. In the game itself, a lot of the options, you know what you're going to be doing. On the Miami side, you're playing achane. You're playing Jalen Waddle. I got it. He it was game scripty, but I feel like in Tyreek's absence, it's almost impossible for you not to play him. So you could go ahead and play Jalen Waddle. Um, and on the Carolina side, you're playing Chuba Hubbard because you play Chuba Hubbard. He's such a great talent. It was a little disappointing, uh, uh, in the last game, but you roll with them against the Miami defense, and obviously
He was on the injury report, so just
keep an eye on it.
keep an eye on that.
And you're playing Tet McMillan. It's pretty. I got it. His last game wasn't the best, but we already identified Tet McMillan as a trade for target, so we're seeing
Mhm.
some positive regression there. Other options. Okay, on the Miami side, if you picked up Darren Waller, you're probably looking, and you probably need a tight end, and so therefore you're probably looking to play him. In the grand scheme of tight ends, he's probably a decent enough start as it is. There's got a bunch of guys I'd rather play over him, but if you picked him up, you probably need him. So you're probably trying to get him in there. Um, I, I was trying to, funny, off air, I was trying to talk to Tommy about maybe this game as a sleeper, like, hey, maybe you could try to get in some other options in this game. I know you're not crazy about the other options. Does your opinion still hold on that?
Yeah, I just, Hunter Renfro is not really an option for me to throw in this game. I just it's it can't be a boomer busty situation that I'm looking for consistent fantasy relevance. So yeah, I think that is pretty much all I'd be comfortable with. And Carolina is not the same team that you saw against the Falcons. So um it, it, it's hit or miss. I don't know which team is showing up. The ascending team or the descending team. It just depends. It's a weekly thing.
Yeah, it might not be the team that, shut out the Falcons 30-0. It won't be. I doubt that'll be the team. Um,
But
Quarterbacks.
again, going back to it, it is a must start. I feel obviously Waddle, and I think Waddle's going to be hyper targeted this week. He should take on a lot of targets, and obviously Waller. Um, you know, if he's on the field, which it looks like he's injured again, um, he should see some targets as well.
It might be his veteran day. Quarterback. We could also identify Tua as a streamable option. So there we go. There's another B level option for you. Tua or Jackson Dart. What do you think?
Uh, I think based on throwing the ball, um, I might have to go Tua.
Okay. Okay. So uh, and now that's that level of streamer. So a lot of people might not have to even go that low.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. We've also got the Dolphins as a B level defense if you need it. The implied points total for Carolina's 21.5. So you could probably rock and roll with that. And again, we don't know what Panthers are going to be showing up. Is it going to be more hapless, or is it going to be the 30 to nothing dominant Panthers? I'm sure it'll be somewhere in the middle. So you take of that what you will. Let's go to the next game. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis are home favorites, minus 6.5 points. The over-under there is 47.5 points. So the Colts are a must-start defense for sure. On the Colt and the Colt, you're playing a lot of Colts here. On the Colts side, you're playing Jonathan Taylor, you're playing Michael Pittman, you're playing Ty Warren, and if you got him, and especially if you need him in the buy environment, you're playing Daniel Jones in this game. Their implied points total is 27 points. Rock and roll. Go for it. On the Raiders side, after that performance, you can happily play Ashton Jeanty.
Do you think that Chip Kelly's going to force him to go back into his position?
No, not after they made a thing about it this past week.
I'll find it really funny if, like, for the first series, like he's back in his traditional running back position stance, and then it just doesn't work, and he's like the rest of the game he's standing up like Michael Myers.
Michael Myers stands. So you're playing Ashton Jeanty, and despite perhaps the underwhelming thus far, you're still playing Brock Bowers. Maybe he, whatever the injury is, maybe he starts to get better from it. Here's what I hope with Brock Bowers. I hope that he didn't sustain like what would for normal people be like a season-ending injury, and he's just playing on it with a knee brace on. I hope
I
that's
don't
not what happened.
No, I don't think that's what's happening. I think, because if that was the case, they're not going anywhere this year. When it comes down to the Raiders, I don't believe. And I apologize for the Raiders, fans that listen to us. But if it was that grave of an injury, they wouldn't be throwing him out there as a decoy. There's no reason for it. So I think that it is playable. It is sometimes discouraging if you have him because he's not the Brock Bowers you saw last year.
The ceiling is
Um,
really kept. Yeah.
yeah, but I do think as the week goes on and he's not limited and he's in there and he's healthy, there will be a positive movement for you start seeing a little bit more of an uptick. I think also this is a Geno thing at times, and he does tend to spread the ball, and doesn't really hyper target at times one player. Um,
He did week one,
he
and
did
then
week one, but
after Bowers got hurt, all of a sudden it stopped.
yes, but this being week five, going into week five, he's had 4 weeks of, or sorry, 3 weeks of gameplay on this MCL sprain, whatever it was. I think he'll be fine. He should be fine. This should be the week that you start seeing a little bit more because they're going to be playing a lot from behind.
Well, I hope so. From your lips to God's ears for everybody who's
They
got
need, yeah,
Brock
and they,
Bowers.
yeah, and they need him. That offense needs him to start, getting a little bit more of an uptick because he is such a elusive player for where his stature is.
I will say I do disagree with one thing you said. The fact that, okay, they wouldn't throw him out there if it was otherwise a serious injury that he was somehow managing to play through. Um, we've seen it before. Like, yeah, they might not be going anywhere in a realistic sense, but they're not really at that point yet. Like, if they were to get to like 1-8 or something, then yeah, maybe that's the point. But they're not quite there yet. So while they're still mathematically still being involved in all this stuff, like I 100% could see an NFL team doing that. We've seen it a lot of times with a lot of other players. So I'm not as my faith in the team is not as well put as yours might be. That having been said, I'll try to lean on that side. The Raiders bye, I think, is coming up in 2 weeks or something. So maybe it'll be interesting to see how he reacts after that point.
It's week
Um,
8.
if he could recover, then he'll be good to go. But it just has been underwhelming thus far. It was,
I
by the way,
mean,
I know we spent a lot of time on it, but like it was worth talking about this for 2 seconds. So
yeah,
I mean, so it doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't matter. You're still rolling him out there. Just maybe you adjust your expectations. Um,
yeah.
other options here. The only other thing I would even consider playing would be Jacoby Myers. He's a decent start for targets. I would completely stay away from every other option in Las Vegas. Downs, I would stay away from in this game until they kind of show a little bit of more passing it. I feel like this is a Jonathan Taylor running away with the football game. That's how I see this.
It should be.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. And completely stay away from any of the other options, including Gino. Let's go to the next game. We got the Denver Broncos at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia minus 4.5 points. The over under there is 43.5 points. So obviously you're playing your Eagles defense. Play them with confidence with the low implied points for the Broncos. The Eagles, by the way, have basically gotten away with two straight wins that they probably shouldn't have gotten. I wonder if this game's going to be similar. I The way I see this game personally is that I think the Eagles kind of smashed them, but maybe I'm wrong. Well, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. On the Eagles side, you're playing Saquon Barkley and you're playing Jalen Hurts. On the Denver side, Dobbins, you're playing him. I got it. Harvey's starting to get a lot more work, but he's still the main guy, and you play your starting running backs. I mean, it's maybe adjust your expectations a bit, but you're going to play Dobbins. Quentin Sutton, obviously, you're playing him, and that's about it with guys that you're really trying to get in there. Let's just mention some other options. Harvey, I would be staying away from in this game completely. I got it. He got more work in the last game, but this is not going to be the game for him. Troy Franklin, you could chase all the snap counts and all the targets. He's likely to be involved. I wouldn't chase the touchdown on Mims just yet. Chase the volume first. So that's on
Hmm.
on Franklin. And man, the Eagles side. I've got both AJ Brown and Davante Smith as B-level starts, as decent if there's no better options. I cannot bring myself to put them higher than that. Do you agree?
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
I would be at this point, I'm trying to sit them. Seriously. You need to find a game where you really believe that that team is going to be competitive all the way through the game for you to be able to start an Eagles wide receiver. So the Eagles have some of those games coming up, and if you believe that, then those are the games that you throw them in for. So if you think Denver is going to be really competitive with them the whole game, then fine, disagree with us and go ahead and put them in. Um,
I mean, it's really tough. It's tough to to see that, and especially with the value that you took some of
I
these
know.
guys in the draft. I mean, again, we're not talking about draft, capital anymore. It's just, because it's season capital and production capital. But the value that you invested into some of these players, it's heartbreaking. But again, we were not investing into AJ Brown early on because the hamstring, right? That early, if he fell, that's one thing, but we were not, and he was kind of like an off target for us.
I don't want to.
Uh,
I got to tell you too, Tommy. Like we were a little lower than consensus on AJ Brown for these kinds of reasons. We were worried that it would be just a tush push and Barkley kind of year, the same way it was, and it's turning out to be the same kind of year.
yeah,
But we don't get to take a gigantic victory lap. It's like we still saw him as a good talent, but we were a bit lower than consensus on it. So
yeah.
I'll temper our victory laps that we take. Dallas Goedert, by the way, we have as a B-level start for the exact same reason. I mean, I got it. He's not going to get two touchdowns every game, but it's not like he's going to get a million targets either. So if you got better tight end options, give it a try. But I mean, I don't know. Would you rather play Njoku than Goddard?
Uh, Goddard may not play this week. So yes, I would play Njoku.
I thought he was declared in. Maybe they
I'd
maybe they
still play.
adjusted it.
I'd still play Njoku.
Okay, that's the level of avoid slash emergency that you would have
Yeah,
to play.
because you can't go off of last week's production either.
Yeah. And then just 2 seconds on Bo Nix. So if you got Bo Nix and he had that amazing game for you last time, I especially in a bye week, it might be difficult for you to have gotten a backup quarterback to play. So you could probably just stick with Nix. I'm actually doing that in our league of record. I don't have room to be able to drop anybody to pick anybody. That having been said, if you do have that option, I would much rather be playing other streamable options like some guys that we haven't even mentioned, like Darnold um or perhaps or I guess Daniel Jones if you want to even consider him a streamer, or Stafford, which we'll get into, which we
Yep.
should have. Now, by the way, I believe Stafford we should have mentioned right at the top, and we forgot to mention it. Perfectly good streamer, and I would much rather have him over Tua, over Knicks in this game. But again, I'm kind of forced into Knicks, so
Yeah.
I'm banking on the rushing a little
And
bit.
I will say this actually, because we haven't even really went through. so much of this game yet, but I am thinking about starting Stafford over Mayfield this week because of the injuries and everything that's occurring, and also they're going against Seattle's defense in Seattle.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although Baker's tough, he's going to play through that. Let's save that. Let's save that discussion when we get there. We're a couple games away.
Yeah,
Um, all right, so that's that game. We'll see. I think the Eagles smash them. Let's go to the next game. So we've got the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Jets. The Dallas Cowboys are road favorites, -2.5 points. The over under there is 47.5 points. I saw this line and I was surprised it wasn't higher.
I think they're going to score 80 points this game.
They both might. I actually want a lot of pieces in this game. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this should be a good game. On the Jets side, you're starting Breece Hall, you're starting Garrett Wilson, and you're starting Justin Fields. I got it. I mean, it looks ugly in the pocket, but man, he could take off and run for 80 yards at a touchdown. And especially against the Dallas defense, who can't stop anybody.
Yep.
Yeah, you're rolling with Justin Fields. On the Dallas side, you're starting Javonte Williams because he's just been amazing. First part of the year, you're starting Javonte Williams. You're starting George Pickens, man, and in CD's absence, he's been making the most out of his time with Pickens being out of it. Man, every single game has been great for him. So you're starting him. You're starting Fergalicious there at tight end. Rock and roll with it. And we've got a confidence call. Confidence call. You are playing Dak Prescott. It's I got it. He got. We wanted to sit him last week, and we did it for the right reasons. We ended up being wrong against the Jets defense when they're a higher over under. Go ahead, roll with Dak Prescott. There's no reason not to in this game.
I mean, you saw what Tua did last week,
That's true with and without Tyreek for most of it.
and
And
Tua is not on Josh Allen caliber, right? Because he's not to the same caliber of player of superstar now, apparently.
right.
You didn't see his chatter about like he's just too good, he's amazing. I'm not like that.
Oh, I think I missed this. I mean,
There was
maybe,
a lot of news on that one.
maybe he's gonna ask him on a date. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
In terms of other options here, um, I got it. You could probably chase a little bit of the targets that Mason Taylor had. If you think that Taylor is going to have somewhat of an impact this season, this might be the game for that. I still think you could find better options. We keep calling it up. I'd rather, I mean, would you rather play Mason Taylor or David Njoku? These B-level options, man.
Um, with the amount of implied points to be scored in this game, I actually may lean Mason Taylor. But if you're looking for more of a consistent approach, I do think that Njoku is still the lean. But for me, I think it's a 50-50. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for consistency, I'd go Njoku. If you're looking for a higher ceiling because of a potential touchdown to be scored and more yards to be had, I'd go Taylor.
Okay. I I don't necessarily disagree. Any other interesting options you'd be looking to play? I mean, it's real emergency to play like the tertiary guys on Dallas, like Turpin and stuff. But what do you think?
I mean, the lower end guys, in that receiving room could see a little bit more volume in the passing game. But I think, you have to start Ferguson, you have to start obviously Pickens. I, I I'm a little worried about Pickens being, shadowed by Gardner this week. So I don't think he's going to have the week that he had prior. So that's where I feel like some of these lower end guys like a Turpin could see a little bit more target
Good.
and and be a decent flex opportunity this week. But again, um
It could just
there
be
are
Fergalicious taking all those targets. I
yeah,
mean,
84 targets.
it just might. Oh, and keep an eye on the backup running backs for both teams here. So Sanders has been injured the last 2 weeks, and they keep talking about Jaden Blue. I still think it's not going to be a thing this year, but I'll at least mention I'll at least mention coach speak when it's at least halfway notable. So pay attention to that. Maybe he becomes a little bit, get some touches in this game. And
Yeah,
bec and bec
I'd be a little upset if Jaden Blue finds his way onto that field this week because I just dropped him in the league. Unfortunately for a quarterback because
if need
Baker, I'm not
if
feeling
needed,
too
if
good about
needed.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the backup running back for the Jets, you need to pay attention to. So Braylon Allen got injured. I think he's on. I forget if they put him immediately on IR, but he's going to be out for a while. So the Isaiah Davis has been this, big hyped guy. Let's keep an eye on to see what that workload difference is between Breece Hall and Isaiah Davis. If nothing else, if you're the Breece Hall owner, you need to have Isaiah Davis on the team right now.
Yep.
So let's go to the next game. We've got the Tennessee Titans at the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are home favorites, minus 8.5 points. The over-under there is 41.5 points. We've got the Arizona Cardinals as the number one defense this week. Play them with confidence. Take your 20 points and move on. On the Arizona, but it's funny, like in a game with this much of an over-under, there's not too many guys that you're really looking to play. On the Arizona side, you're playing Trey McBride because he's Trey McBride. And honestly, as ridiculous and frustrating as it is, you're still going to play Kyler in this game. Just it is what it is. Um, I don't know how you sit Harrison. Go ahead and roll with it, but just suffices to say that we've seen disappearing acts before, but I guess you have to go ahead and play Harrison if you need it. On the Tennessee side, we have no must starts for you. None. Absolutely none. Um, I have Pollard as a B level start. I got it. You could look to try to throw guys in. I've got Io Manor as a B level start. I mean, are you comfortable playing any guys on the Titans?
No, not this week. Not
No.
this week. They completely pulled the fast one on me last week. So I'm off the Titan train.
Okay. How do you feel about DeMercado coming off the waiver wire in this game?
I like him this week, especially with Benson being placed on IR. It's
Right.
unfortunate. It's back-to-back weeks of running backs in that backfield. So, hopefully DeMarcado finds his, keeps healthy. But he did see a nice snap share. There was a 50% opportunity for both of them last week. I think Michael Carter does see a little bit of an opportunity this week as well too. It
Just
should
wait.
it should be consistent 50-50. Michael Carter, showed some flash when he was on the Jets. And I was surprised when the Jets let him go, to be honest, back then. But I think DeMarcado is a good spot start if needed. He could finish as a high-end RB2, maybe depending on the situation, RB1, but I don't think it's going to get there. I think you're going to get RB2 numbers out of him.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're about right. This is what I want to see out of this game because we said it last year, we say it this year. Arizona's the most frustrating team because of how good they should be, and then they aren't, and then like all of us, then they're awful, and then you can't count on them being awful because then they'll come back in the last 5 minutes in the fourth quarter and score 30, like it's just so frustrating. I want to see Arizona go in there to a team that they should completely dominate, and I want them from quarter one to quarter four, blow them off the field. I want to see breakouts from Kyler, from Marvin Harrison. Like I want to see a full dominance like they should have. Don't know if we'll get that because it's Kyler, but that's what should happen. So
Yep.
I'm hoping for that. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen in this game. Um, let's go to the next game. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are home favorites, minus 3 points. The over under there is 44.5 points. So not a crazy amount of points for the Bucks, but it's the Bucks. So we got the Seahawks as a decent emergency level defense if you need to start it. But Tommy's point is well taken here. Baker is playing through some injuries. It could be a difficult day away at a difficult defense. I'm a bit worried myself. Although if I've got Baker Mayfield and you know it's a and it's on a bye week and I don't have any better options, I'm still rolling with them. It's difficult to sit somebody like that. So I mean, I could throw some names at you once we get to that point. It's like who you would play on the Seahawks side. You're playing Ken Walker. You're playing JSN obviously, and that's about it. We'll mention some other options on the Tampa Bay side. I Is it declared that Irving is officially out? I think it's pretty clear, but it
No,
is
there's nothing clear yet. It's more of I think it's gonna be a game time decision kind of ordeal. But um, again, back on that Irving thing, you should have sold him before these injuries started piling up.
I think I would stay if Irving plays. I got it. You're probably going to try to get him in, but I would try to not to. I mean, he was broken after that game. He was just completely exhausted the way that they used him. I would try to stay away. I still think even if he's in, Rashad White is a decent play. Even if he's in, they might utilize him more. I got it. Might
I
not.
think Tucker could start seeing some
I
a
agree.
little bit of an uptick on snaps.
If Bucky Irving's out, I think Tucker becomes a very good play. Now I
I
got it.
honestly I honestly think that if Bucky Irvin even plays, I don't think it's a full share of snaps
Maybe
for
not.
him.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It's
Um,
unfortunate because Bucky Irvin came from Oregon, and they're going to Seattle. It's on that side of the narrative is basically it's close to home, and
Man, we are digging deep for some of these narratives now.
yeah,
Look at that.
it's going to be an
Um,
unfortunate situation for Bucky Irving.
so Ibuka, he's a must play. I'm actually very happy that I got out of Ibuka when I did in one of my other leagues because I think that especially when Evans starts coming back and all this other stuff, and again they're against a really good defense. I think it starts to normalize a little bit, but you still playing them while you have them, obviously. Would you be interested in playing Godwin at all in this game?
Um, Possibly. It just depends on the situation with Baker. I think Baker plays. I don't think there's a question about that. But again, it is a tough matchup. Um, this isn't the Legion of Boom, but it is a tough Seattle defense. They've been playing a lot of teams very, very well. And I may have to be leaning to play him because of targets. But I just don't think there's going to be a massive yardage and touchdown opportunity for him. So I think he's a solid flex if needed.
I agree with you. Um, if needed, I mean, maybe you could find better options. I mean, I'd rather play Cooper Cup at the same game.
Yeah, where you've drafted him, you should have better options
You should.
right now.
Yeah, like I just mentioned, I'm actually playing Cooper Cup in a league. I'm banking on a lot of targets in a game like this. Hopefully the teams keep it competitive. I would be staying away from the tight ends completely. And then yeah, let's just give some quick lip service to the quarterback. So we've got Darnold as a perfectly viable B level streamer. You could go with it. I I have the same trepidation as Tommy does about Baker. However, I felt the same trepidation against the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's kind of like for me, it's like I don't know how you doubt him at this point. Is that a fair point? Or
No, that's fair.
like, and again, with an ascension of Godwin, things coming back in. I mean, it's and I don't see the Seahawks as a better defense per se than the Eagles. They are away though, if that makes a difference. So I would and I trust the pass catching of guys that they're going to throw in there. It would take a lot for me to sit Baker. There's very few guys that I would put over him. But yeah, and Darnold, like we said, he's a perfectly fine B-level streamer. So there we go. Let's go to the next game. We got the Washington Commanders at the LA Chargers. The Chargers are home favorites minus 2.5 points. The over under there is a big 48.5 points. You're playing a lot of people in this game. So you're playing Omarion Hampton, rock and roll. Let's go. This is an Omarion Hampton kind of game. Of the Chargers wide receivers, you're playing Keenan Allen and you're playing Quentin Johnston. And it's funny that we're saying that. And then like Ladidi Metcalfe, I got it. It's not been nice, but I think I actually have him as a go ahead and play him. Seriously, I have him at some point. There's going to be a bit of regression coming his way. I don't see Keenan Allen just completely soaking up those possession targets the entire year.
I mean, I don't think anything's changing.
Okay. I don't
I
know.
mean, this is why we were so hard, we were so off on him this year as well too. It was
We
JSN
lowered
and,
him.
and,
Yeah.
and yeah, JSN and Lad McConkey. Obviously we had Lad McConkey a lot higher than JSN. JSN was a massive loss when it came down to our predictions with that, but Lad McConkey is just continuously following the trend that we anticipated, but not to this extent. This is this is crazy. I mean, but again, if you look at it, the amount of need and necessity they needed him last year, at the towards the tail end of the year when he had those massive, massive games, he was the only guy out there. So a lot of it went there, and when you have a lot of pass catchers and when fortunately Quentin Johnson after 3 years decided that he wants to start catching the ball as the third wide receiver starts popping in, that takes a lot away, and more targets go his way if he's catching it.
No, I agree. And it's if I had Ladidi, I would be looking at my options. I guess I'm probably getting him in there, but it's just like maybe if I had a better option, if I had another questionable thing, I would reassess. But while him and Keenan Allen are basically doing the exact same thing on the field, and Justin Herbert's looking to Keenan Allen much more than he's looking to Ladidi. So,
Hmm.
um, and speaking of Justin Herbert, you're playing Justin Herbert. I got it. He had a really bad game against the Giants, but I feel like this is a bit of a bounce back here. So you could rock and roll with Justin Herbert. Maybe he gets back on track. On the Washington side, so it's been declared. So this is going to be Daniel's first game back. I would be a little wary. Maybe he's going to be a little more tentative on his, running the ball at coming back from the injury a little bit. So if you got better options, you could go ahead and roll with Daniels as you wait and see. But if you need to, I guess you could just roll him back in there. I know a lot of people are just trying to get him back in there. So, take of that what you will. But in terms of guys you are starting, you're playing Zach Ertz, really. That in McLaurin's apps, I mean, you're rolling with them. Take your lumps as they are. We don't have anybody else as
Uh,
a must start here.
Not Debo.
Oh, I apologize. Sorry. I should have mentioned Debo too in McLaurin's absence. But I'm
I'm glad
basically
I I'm glad I caught Billy sleeping on Debo.
no, I'm sorry. But I'm making the point of we don't have any of these running backs as guys that you should be playing in this. Is this a completely hands off? Because remember, we called out their snap counts earlier in the week. You remember what they were? It was
2019.
exactly. I don't know. Maybe JCM or Rodriguez in an emergency if you need to get him in there, right?
No,
No,
no.
none at all.
Stay away. Stay away. You know what? There is somebody in your league that probably will still trade for the name and um for the analyst that falls in love with JCM. So, just put it out there. Try to get rid of him. You don't want the situation. This is probably worse than the Bill Belichick era of running backs in what you call it,
New England.
New England.
Right. Right. We remember where people played. I wanted to make the point though, we did mention earlier this week in our bonus episode that the Washington has some of the best running back matchups coming up. So there is value to be had in this somewhere, but we need some clarity to happen before we start jumping on any of these bandwagons. But we say it all the time every year, these amorphous backfields, value does come out of that. The problem is that you end up guessing wrong more often than
Mhm.
not. So, it'd be great if you could start Washington running back one, like the whole Washington backfield in a thing, but that's not how it works. So,
Yeah, say quarterback system right here. Just say you don't start a Seattle quarterback.
right. It'd be nice, but
Yeah.
not how it works. Yes. Should be a really nice game. Let's go to the next game. The biggest slaughter in the history of slaughters. We got the Detroit Lions at the Cincinnati Bengals. Detroit minus 10.5 points. The over under there is 48.5 points. I can't think of a single relevant Detroit piece that you're not starting. You're starting Gibbs. Honestly, you're starting Montgomery. Go ahead and roll with the entire backfield there. You're playing St. Brown. You're playing Laporta. Jared Goff, I got it. He's been a Jared Goff, man. They're scoring 50 points and then maybe he has like one touchdown or something. But this is a game you're not going to turn down 29.5 implied points against the Cincinnati Bengals. You're
I, th
playing
I th
Jared Goff.
and yeah, and I think you have to start Williams this week.
Maybe yeah, I think he's a perfectly viable
Yeah,
start
Jamison
too.
Williams, I think, is a very, very good start this week.
Yes. And please, 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 please play your Lions defense. Play them if,
Yes.
if you got them. Okay, Cincinnati side. You're playing Jamar Chase, and then the rest is a full sit.
I'm a little worried about playing Jamar Chase.
So would I. But how do you sit him?
I mean, when you're only scoring 3 points, 3 or 10 points, I mean, first off, anybody out there, take the under in 19 points. Just take it and put money on it all day long. Like, right? Like, you
You
agree
might
with that?
it might be I agree with that, but they might not be able to do that depending on their betting platform.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true. I mean,
you
if
can't
if
take the
you
under on implied points.
yeah. Well, if you are in an area where you can do that, please do that. I think that 19 points is very, very generous. Especially when they've only been scoring 3 and 10 for the past 2 weeks. And also the Lions defense is fairly strong. Um, no,
I guess the rest is a full sit. I will say
yeah.
to make my life sound fun. So because of bye weeks, I really got hit by bye weeks this week in most of my leagues. So I have to play Chase Brown in one league. And I am praying for like just for them to just try to score a little bit of points.
You're praying for 8 points.
Something, yeah. Like give me some PPR, give me some of that. And I don't even know how I can say this with a straight face. I'm also playing T. Higgins
Ooh.
in the league, right? So I'm again praying just like, all right, just get me to like 8 to 10 or something. Just give me something,
I
you
will
know.
say T. Higgins looked like he was starting off good last week, and he was making some big catches, and then he pulled a
Yeah.
waddle. He pulled a waddle.
I want to take here's another one. This is victory lap day. I want to take some victory laps because we brought this up in the offseason about being wary about teams with bad offensive lines. Uh seriously, we need to reemphasize this offseason. Like
Well,
it's horrendous this year.
so yeah, Cincinnati has a bad offensive line without their starting quarterback.
Right. And but it was partially that's why. I mean, it's just I would be wary about them. Like I'd be less wary, obviously, if it was Burrow, but like they just it's just bad. It's just horrible. I think
I
Browning's a
mean,
better quarterback than this is. It's just their old line has nothing.
who has a better offensive line, Baltimore or Cincinnati?
Baltimore, Baltimore.
But
Cincinnati and Houston are on another level.
mm,
Yeah. So yeah. So there we go. So good luck. Enjoy your slaughter. Honestly, if you're playing DFS, you could probably throw Tesla in there or something. Like it's gonna be destruction.
yeah,
All right, let's go to the next. By the way, I say that and then all of a sudden it's a trap game in some way. It is in Cincinnati, so take it that way you will. All right, the penultimate game. We've got the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo are the home favorites, -8.5 points. I don't think this is going to be a slaughter. We'll get to
Sunday
this.
Night Football.
Sunday Night Football. Over under there is the highest of the week, 49.5. This could be really, really interesting. So the Buffalo Bills, you're playing James Cook and you're playing Dalton Kincaid and you're playing Josh Allen. And given the excuse me, given the implied points total, you're probably looking to play the Bills defense. However, I see the Patriots putting up a fight here. The Bills, maybe they were looking past the Saints a little bit. That's why the Saints look more competitive, but the Patriots have been looking good lately. I don't know if they go in there and beat the Bills, but I could see them putting up points for sure and being a competitive team. So be wary about your Bills defense if you're going to roll with it. On the Patriots side, you're playing Hunter Henry and you're playing him happily. He's one of the best tight ends right now. And
Mhm.
honestly, I don't know how you sit Drake May. We talked about it, right? I mean, he's been the quarterback, whatever it is, 7-3, and like he's like the quarterback 6 on the year. Like he's been really great. He's gonna keep it rocking and rolling. Um, and honestly, after that performance, I've got Diggs as an A tier player here. Like I think you rock and roll with it. Hopefully, you get some points out of it.
Yeah, I think you have to, based on his opportunities that he saw last week, and he's staying away from that bootay. So
There it is. Diggs stayed
yeah,
away from the Butte, and he's an A tier now.
yep.
Yep, good for him. Okay, our Coleman and Shakir, who we did the Coleman and Shakir basket. Decent starts in this game if you need it.
Shakir, I think Shakir it's just a lock every single week.
You think it's a
Shakir
lock at this point?
Shakir is back in the level that he was last year.
I think Coleman seems to be getting a little more. I mean, maybe by that logic, you guys hear what we're saying. Like, roll with him if you need it. I mean, either one of them. But
Shakir is Josh Allen's main guy
oh, I
in the
disagree.
backfield and in the air.
I don't know. I all right. Maybe we'll up until now, it's been like pretty crapshooty kind of across
I
the board.
I just think that it's clear that since Shakir is healthy, he is the guy out there. It's not Mr. Clean Kincaid. It's
What?
yeah, Mr. Clean Kincaid, Cascade Kincaid. It is Shakir is the
Like
guy. Shit,
three,
Miss
six degrees of Kevin Bacon on that pun. Oh my gosh.
6, 7.
Oh my gosh. On the Patriots side, do you play both running backs, one running back? Are they both decent starts if you have to? How do you see this?
You're starting to see the positive movement
Henderson.
with Henderson. Stevenson's still going to get his touches, but I think this is a week that if you want to try to get the value you drafted Henderson, you may want to start him this week. You may have to start him this week,
Okay. And again,
especially with buys happening.
yeah, and you know what? It could be a real good day. I'm not saying, I mean, the Bills, I'm being cautious about it. The Bills could go in there and smash them. But the Patriots are being too competitive as of late. And the Bills, I don't know if they're looking past things or if they're taking their foot off the gas. I could see a competitive game here. And Vegas thinks that there's going to be lots of points scored. So you want to get pieces in a game like that.
Yeah, and I could see, if you're looking at like kind of draft and how teams were drafting this year, if you got like one of those top three running backs or top four running backs, then you could have taken a chance on Henderson in that third round after going wide receiver in the second round. Um, but you most likely have like a Swift or Etienne. And right now, Etienne is most likely your starter because of those buys with, two of maybe having to take basically Bijan as your number one, right? So you may be forced to have Henderson as your RB2 based on the situation.
Maybe. I mean, I, I'd rather be playing Henderson than Charbonnet. I have to have him as my running back too in a particular league this week, so which is nice.
Yeah, I
So
would I would definitely play I would definitely play Henderson over Charbonnet, but I think Charbonnet is a decent spot start as well too.
maybe, yeah. Um, but again, it just goes to say like you really try to get your stud running backs in because there's a lot more options that you could throw in for points or whatever, etc. on at the wide receiver position.
Hmm.
Um, So there we go. That's Sunday Night Football. Let's get to the Monday night game. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kansas
Monday,
City.
Monday, Monday.
We've got the Kansas City are road favorites, minus 3 points. The over-under is 46.5 points. This line, I paid attention to this line. This line held exactly the same that it was days and days ago. It has not moved. So I trust what this line is saying. The line is suggesting that the Jacksonville might not have the most points. I would say the Chiefs are about a B level defense here. You guys can there might be some better options, but you might be forced into it depending on if people have hoarding defenses in leagues, like I am. So on the Jacksonville side, you're playing Travis Etienne. You're playing Brian Thomas. I got it. Brian Thomas has not been good up until now, but at some point those targets are going to connect, and he's going to have a much bigger game. So you got to rock and roll with it. And Brenton Strange in the tight end landscape, you go after guys who are getting volume, getting targets. He's been, what did we say this week? The last two games, he's been 6 for 7. That's
Yep.
something to roll with at the tight end position. Go for it. You could roll with Strange. On the Kansas City side, you've got one must start, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has been performing well despite the situation that he's been put in. And thankfully now he's got Worthy back at his hopefully full capacity. I don't know if he's, what he's fighting through. But I'd like to point out he Kelsey has not been good, but I'd like to confidence call it right now and say that you could go ahead and start Travis Kelsey. In a game like this, Mahomes is going to need him. The game's likely to be competitive. Even though Kansas City's favored, like this is likely to be a pretty good game. Jacksonville is going to going to put up a bit of a fight here. So you can go ahead and roll with Kelsey. Other options. I don't know. We're gonna roll with Juju in one of our other leagues. I'm not feeling that good about it, to be honest. You would roll with Juju over, some of the other names that we could name earlier in the list. Like you'd roll with Juju over Cooper Kupp, for example.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Um, it's a weird thing. Like he's kind of picking his shots between Hollywood and Juju. Like whenever the guy seems to be open, I got it. Juju looked pretty good on some of the plays that he caught, but again, decent start. You could probably do worse. Worthy, by the way, I don't see how you sit him. I should have mentioned it, but there seems to be some consensus online that you should not be playing him. So, do we want to address that just a little bit? Like, where do you think all that trepidation's coming from?
It's coming from the shoulder injury. I mean, he does have a sling or shoulder harness or something like that on his shoulder. So, but again, he was invested into the offense last week. He did have a nice week, um, especially him coming off of that. I don't see that you're chasing last week's points. I mean, he is a vital point in that offense. So he's going to get his targets. So
Uh,
let the consensus not start him and fail again this week.
either one of the running backs for Kansas City, you playing them?
It is a semi tough matchup. Jacksonville's defense has been fairly decent.
Mhm.
And I think if you are to start somebody, I'd lean Pacheco.
Okay, I would lean Hunt. I think Hunt is just doing more with his work, but
Okay.
I mean, try to avoid. I'd rather play either of them over Charbonnet personally, but you might not be in that position. Any thoughts for any tertiary options in Jacksonville? I mean, you're
Um,
not going to throw Hunter out there
no,
at this
no.
point.
There was a thought that I thought maybe, playing him in another league that I was able to pick him up off waivers. But I just feel like it's a bad move. He's going to be playing more wider. He's going to be playing more cornerback, I think, this game. And if you have if you have a defensive player position, which a lot of us don't, in leagues, it's not really it's not really a majority. But I think Hunter doesn't have a traditional wide receiver value as of right now.
Gotcha. And like I would stay away from Tootin. I got it. Like we're starting to like what we see out of him too, but now's not the game for him. There's not enough points out of Jacksonville that are going to happen to make it relevant and we would stay away completely from Trevor Lawrence in a game like this. Spags is going to dial up the blitzes. They got a good defense. I would completely stay away from it. You definitely have better options in a game like this. So there we go. That's the slate of games this week. So one thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drop in the descriptions. We're gonna drop all of our must starts, and generally speaking, all your must starts is everybody who we had in the S and A tier. And we'll put in the description exactly what that means. And well, I'll put it in the descriptions everywhere. And by the way, we should make a better point to mention this. So, we're on everywhere: YouTube, Apple Podcast, we've TikTok, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. Every social media that you could possibly think of, we're there. So please check us out. Please check out our stuff, like, share, and subscribe. We're happy to have you guys with us. And we've got Tommy. You want to what do we have left this week?
We do have Sunday live, so we atypically go live anywhere from 11:45 to 12:15 ish. Again, we apologize for the Streamlabs situation we had last week when we were going live, but it sounds like everything has cleared up. Yeah,
That's right. And we're happy to have you guys with us, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, guys.
thank you.